Hi, I'm R.P. Smith, and I really appreciate you joining me today. What I wanted to talk to you about is how to save a failing marriage and the things that you need to do, and also the things that you should avoid doing. But first, I just want to let you know right up front that I'm not a doctor or a therapist, and I'm not a counselor, but what I'm about to share with you is based on my personal experience, both while my marriage was unraveling and then what I ultimately did to get things turned around. I want to assure you this didn't come to me without a lot of pain and quite honestly getting my butt kicked pretty good in the process. Although I nearly got divorced, I stumbled almost by accident on an approach that both saved my marriage and really changed my life. So the question I have for you is, if you're recently separated from your spouse or they've hit you with the news that they want a divorce, do you have what it takes to save a failing marriage? Or are you going to keep making the same mistakes that you've maybe already made, or certainly that others have made, that pretty much guarantee failure? So I'm going to avoid the fluff here and then just cut right to the chase. My guess is if you're listening to or watching this video, you're looking for a solution and maybe you're not sure what the best move is. Well, let me just tell you, when my wife told me a few years ago that our marriage was over, I was a wreck. I wasn't sure what to do, but I was desperate to do something. And so what happened was, I made a series of mistakes that nearly cost me any chance to work things out with her. And so what I've done is, I've come up with a list of things that you absolutely need to avoid doing at all costs. If you've done some of these things now, it's not going to be the end of the things, but you want to make sure that you don't do them anymore. So the first thing I wanted to let you know to avoid doing is, don't resort to begging and pleading. This is totally ineffective for two main reasons. Number one, it looks desperate. I mean, once you're down on your knees or crying and begging and pleading, that just it looks desperate. It doesn't work. The second thing that it does is it surrenders any power that you might still have to avoid the divorce. So do not resort to begging or pleading. It just doesn't work. Secondly, don't make promises that you're going to change. Whether you've made promises in the past or whether you're just now making promises that you'll change or that you have changed, it's still going to sound to your spouse like more of the same, and it really doesn't work. So avoid saying that you're going to change or that you've changed. Please don't let them see you get angry. You're going to be going through a range of emotions, obviously, when you get hit with this news. It could be anger, it could be fear, it could be depression or sadness, it could be everything. But the point is although those feelings are natural and they're to be expected, you want to keep your emotions in check in front of your spouse. You certainly don't want to argue about the breakup or the divorce or the separation, because arguing is simply trying to convince them from your own point of view that their idea is not good. And at this point, they've hit you with this news, so it's not about you, it's about them and how they're feeling. Arguing about it is not going to advance your cause, and it's actually going to be counterproductive. Please don't call them or text them or email them over and over. Again, like the begging and the pleading, it looks desperate, it can be very annoying, and it puts all the power in their hands. It just doesn't work. I would really strongly advise against it. Whatever you do, don't make threats of any kind. That ought to be obvious, but sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures, but threats are not the answer. Please avoid making threats of any kind. Don't waste your money on gifts at this point. It's like trying to buy their affection. You're wasting your money. It gives them all the power, like some of these other things. Don't waste your money on gifts. Absolutely avoid the use of drugs or alcohol. If drugs or alcohol is the first thing that comes to your mind when you've been hit with this bad news, it's a good chance then maybe that drugs or alcohol were a problem with you to begin with. And if you know anything about using these things, you know that whatever you're feeling, whatever emotions you're feeling, be it anger or frustration or fear or depression, are just going to be increased by using drugs or alcohol. So it's not going to help your cause, it's just going to make things worse. Definitely don't have an affair or any type of revenge thinking that that's going to get their attention or that's going to make them jealous or it's not going to. It's going to have just the opposite effect. It's definitely something that you should avoid doing. And finally, don't keep saying, "But I love you, but I love you." it's not, again, it's not about you at this point. It's about them and how they're feeling, and you're trying to make them feel guilty, or you're trying to, share your feelings with them. It's natural, but it just doesn't work, so you need to avoid that. The problem with all of these tactics that I just went over with you are that they're counterproductive to stopping your divorce and saving your marriage. Whether you're a man or a woman, you make yourself less desirable to your partner, and even reinforcing their desire to end the relationship. You're also going to surrender any power that you might still have by appearing desperate and putting the fate of the relationship in your spouse's hands. So if you're interested in saving the failing marriage, even when your spouse is not interested, you need to be in the most resourceful state possible. What do I mean by this? Well, you're going to need to use a clear strategy with proven techniques. You're going to have to be willing to accept help and acknowledge that your previous attempts to save your marriage have not been working. And finally, I can't stress enough the importance of taking action. You're going to have to learn what to do, what to say, how to act, and people who have used the approach that I'm speaking of have literally called off divorce proceedings. So let me ask you this. Are you ready to take action? Do you have what it takes to save a failing marriage? I believe you do. If you're ready to take action, I would really encourage you to visit helpsaveamarriage.blogspot.com. This is not a live link on the video, so in the resource box next to the video on YouTube, there should be a live link, helpsaveamarriage.blogspot.com, that will take you to the resource that I'm talking about and give you all the information you need on this approach that I'm talking about. So do it today. Take action. I just want to leave you with one final thought. You can save your failing marriage, absolutely, even when your spouse isn't trying. Do it now. Don't waste another minute. My best wishes to you and your spouse.